This week of Alabama football has been absolutely crazy. 168 hours since Nick Saban retired, and it's just lit college football on fire. Now, with Nick Saban retiring, there's a 30-day window where players can enter, and I'll get into that later of why I don't like that. And I've seen takes from other teams. Well, Bama's used. No, they haven't. I mean, they might use it at some point. They haven't used it yet, and I'll get into more of that later. But Nick Saban retired. I was shocked, but I see the vision. I know why. It was his time. He didn't necessarily think he was putting them in the best position, which I mean, it's just his highest standards. So Nick Saban retired. I met the guy. I was in his office. If you've seen my Twitter profile, you've seen the picture of me and him. I've heard him talk. I didn't really say nothing to him. I just kind of listened to him. Just heard him talk about life. I mean, it was great. I told him a little bit about myself. I go to college, sport management, everything like that. But yeah, so I've met Nick Saban. He retired. I guess I just had to flex that real quick, but it was shocking. And so that led Alabama to a head coaching search. And they landed on Kalen DeBoer from Washington. Now, Kalen DeBoer has been at Washington 2 years, and I forgot the exact record, but he's been good both years. I think he was 10-3 last year. He's 13-1 this year, or 14-1 this year. And he led the Washington Huskies to the national championship, where they lost. Kalen DeBoer, he's kind of bounced around places, so it'll be interesting to see if this is a long-term spot for him or if there's something else that he likes. He said whenever he was in his press conference that this was like the only job he would leave Washington for. Obviously, we don't know if that's true or not, but I'll trust him on that. But Kalen DeBoer has a really nice offense. I think he's going to do really great things with Milroe. And he's bringing over Ryan Grubb, who Nick Saban wanted the year prior, but they went with Tommy Rees because Grubb basically declined. So he also brings in Matt Womack, head coach of South Alabama. He's ran some really great defenses, runs the 4-2-5, kind of just swarm for the football. He brings in other guys like Jamarcus Shepard, a really good receiver coach. You're going to see three receivers in the Washington Huskies go in the first round, or not first round, and the NFL draft. Both probably one's the top 10 pick, and the other two are probably day 2 or day 3 picks. But obviously, track record. So they bring in a lot. They bring in a really good staff, in my opinion. The 30-day transfer portal opened up, and there's been a lot of guys. Antonio Kite, Trey Amos really shocked me. Des Ricks, former 5-star from last year's class. Caden Proctor entered earlier. And the big one was Caleb Downs entered. And I'll get in a little bit why I don't like this 30-day window, but I want to talk about my Caleb Downs take. Now, this is one I got pushback from because I guess people just don't think about stuff critically. But I don't think Caleb Downs leaving out or entering the portal and most likely leaving Alabama was NIL related. Now, let me preface this by saying he will get a bag. He will get a bag to leave, and he will most likely be going to Georgia. Maybe Ohio State in there, but he will get a bag to leave. But being given money and it being the reason you're leaving is two different things. Now, I said this because I think Caleb Downs leaving was relationship and development related. Now, why do I say that? Caleb Downs' main recruiter was Nick Saban and Tavarius Robinson. Nick Saban retired, obviously, and obviously people go to Alabama and Nick Saban kind of has a pay cut. He had a pay cut, and it didn't. I mean, Caden Proctor said it. He would have got more money in Iowa. He's about to get that money because he's probably about to transfer to Iowa. Players go because of Nick Saban's track record. Well, when Nick Saban's not there as the head man, he's still going to be there as like a support role. But when he's there as not as the head man anymore, that tax goes out the window. Alabama's NIL game's not great, but I'll talk about that later. But that tax goes out the window. With that being said, I don't think this is NIL related. Now, is he going to get a bag going somewhere else? Yes, he will get a bag. He will get a lot of money, and he deserves every part of it because he is that good of a football player. He was probably the best player on Alabama's roster last year as a true freshman. But when I say I don't think this is NIL related, it's because I think it's development and relationship related. And I know that for 100% unless something comes out different. Unless he comes out like Isaiah Bond, flexing Lamborghinis and everything, I will fully 100% think about or keep my take. Nothing can change that. But I got pushback. And let me find this real quick because I got pushback whenever I said this, and I just said this into a reply of a tweet, and I mean, Austin Randolph, he does a great job covering Alabama sports, one of my main follows. So I said, and I didn't add the relationships part in here because I was in the cold, I was walking around, so I didn't really add the relationships part in here, but the relationships part was kind of like my real mindset on this. But I said I don't think I don't think Downs leaving is NIL related at all. I do agree we have poor NIL, but I think Downs is leaving for development reasons. He trusts guys at the team in the state next to us, Georgia, to get him ready for the NFL. I could be wrong though. That's what I said. And my take, I didn't say the relationships part, but it's kind of when I said, dang it, when I said he trusts guys at Georgia, meaning Tavarius Robinson, Kirby Smart, that was relationships related. So I had 3 replies to this. I had from Certain Island, Caleb Downs, if he was draft eligible this year, would go round 1 with ease. It's not about his development. That's a dumb take. Now, would he go round 1? Yeah. But if that's your ultimate goal is to go round 1, you're playing football for the wrong reasons. I would really hope that Caleb Downs' ultimate goal is not to go round 1. I really hope it's just to be a really good football player. And even he was a really good football player as a freshman. There was plenty of stuff that he can work on to be a really, really good football player. He would go round 1 right now, most likely, but he could go top 10 to top 5 in 2 years with development. So that's just a dumb take because why would you not want to continue to develop? And when I say it's not NIL related, again, he will get money to go somewhere else, but he will go round 1 with ease. It's not about development. If you're not in college football to develop, that's why we don't have the NBA rule of one and dones. Is because of development. So, anyways, I move on. From Bama Girl Shasta. What question mark, dude? It's definitely about the money. Sweet baby Jesus. Now, this comes from a person I believe thinks that NIL is like the reason why everyone leaves. Now, there is reasons why there are people that leave because of NIL, and I'm not going to disagree. But this is not Caleb Downs leaving was not NIL related. Will he make money NIL wise? Yes, he will make a ton of money, but it's not the sole reason. The reason he's leaving is relationships and development. He has relationships with guys that are now at Georgia, and it's proven track record of development. He's a freshman, but he can get a whole lot better. And so, and I think she's thinking like, oh, I'm naive to the new college football. I'm not naive to this shit. I know what's going on. I know what college football is now. And I made this take because I thought it was a pretty good take. But I also know what's important. The money now is cool, but the money long term is way more important. And if you can make money now, cool. Make money while you're in college because you earned it. But if you can develop a better rate and make way more money in the NFL stands for not for long. So you better go get your money while you can. And the way you do that is you're a really good football player early. So And again, like I said, I really hope his end goal is not to just be a first round pick. I really hope it's to be a really good football player in the National Football League, which I believe he will be. But I think she thinks I'm naive to NIL. I'm not naive. I know everything. I know everything about the sport. I know why it's going the way it's going. I know there are some people that leave because of NIL. Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond, and I say that because Isaiah Bond wanted to leave before Nick Saban retired. He wanted to leave in that first portal window, but Nick Saban upped the ante on the NIL and convinced him to say, hey, we have this, that. When Nick Saban retired, he had no Caden Proctor. I don't think Caden Proctor is necessarily NIL related. It's more of a homesick reason, but same thing. They wanted to leave before Saban retired. So when Saban retired, guess what? They're out of there because of that relationship. Relationship and development is important to anyone that wants to be a very good football player, which I think Caleb Downs wants to be. I'm not mad at him. I understand. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I don't like it, but I understand. He has guys over there now that he knows can develop him. Kirby Smart has a proven track record now. Tavarius Robinson, relationship, recruited him, has a proven track record. And then the last reply I got, oh shit, he's a trot from Bama Willie, Will Hall 79. He's a top pick currently. That's not why. I mean, I've already said everything I need to say. I don't think my take is wrong. You be the judge of that. You tell me what you think about Caleb Downs. You tell me what you think about the take. But I'm just telling you that I don't think it's fully NIL related. I think it's more of relationships and development. That is the two most important things to people that want to be good at football. Relationships, the people that you bond with over recruiting and that you know can get you the next level, and development, the people that have recruiting. If Caleb Downs was going to Texas, I'm not trying to drag Texas to the mud. They're doing the thing with the money, but Texas, who hasn't necessarily had the proven track record recently until a couple years, and then they just made the playoff. Like Isaiah Bond, if he went there and started flexing things, then yeah, that would be NIL related. Caleb Downs, I don't think wanted to leave Alabama, but he wanted to do what's best for him. That's my take. You let me know what you think. And so with all of this happening, a lot of other fan bases, mainly Auburn and Georgia fans, have come out of the woodwork and just been talking about Alabama all the time. And they're talking about Alabama, which I get it. They're both negative against Bama in the Nick Saban era. They wanna have their fun. I get it. Cool. Have their fun. Talk about it. Whatever. But at least be right when you're talking about them. All of this, well, see, this is why the Bama name doesn't recruit itself. No name fully recruits itself. You have to have recruiters in place. Does name help? Yes. Does going to the University of Alabama or the University of Southern Miss sound better? You're going to go to Alabama no matter what. If you want to be better, you're going to go to Alabama. But now in the NIL game, it seems, and I'm going to do the Caden Proctor thing because that's been proven. Iowa gave Caden Proctor more money. Now he's about to go back to Iowa because I don't think he really liked being at Bama, and I think he was homesick. But Iowa gave Caden Proctor more money to go to Iowa. Alabama gave him less money, but showed a proven track record of players going in the first round at his position, which is the ultimate goal. If you're a solid college football player, make your money in college because you probably don't have the chance to make it as much as you could in the NFL. But if you are a legitimate NFL prospect, you should be you should be going places based on development and relationships. Those are the two words I'll harp on. And so Georgia and Auburn fans come out of the word, oh, well, see, this is why the Bama name doesn't recruit itself. It still does. It still does. But no place recruits itself by the name. You have to have the recruiters in place. And we're going to see with Alabama, if Kalen DeBoer has the recruiters in place, and if he himself is the recruiter in place, that Alabama needs to try to contain um, everything with the recruiting NIL. But the whole see this the Bama name and the Bama downfall. Okay, cool. Have fun. I get it, but don't be wrong. No place recruits itself, but most or some places get a significant advantage in recruiting because of the name. So that's what I'm going to talk about there. Um, this Georgia fan, um, he made a tweet. I tried to reply to it earlier. It was deleted. I don't know if he retweeted it or reposted it or not, but he says, and this is talking about like the same thing. It's like, oh, it's a culture thing. People don't want to stay at Bama because Nick Saban's not there. When Coach Mark Richt left, this is from HBTFD1 on Twitter. When Coach Mark Richt left Georgia and Coach Kirby Smart stepped in, I don't recall such a mass exodus on the scale we are seeing in Alabama. What I remember is some of our best players, Nick Chubb, Davin Bellamy, Sonny Michel, Lorenzo Carter, and others signed up for another year. The culture is different, and Athens is different. Go Dogs. So naturally, I try to respond to that, but he deleted it. He might repost it. I don't know. Maybe it's still up. I don't know. But what I want to say is it's two different situations. First off, Mark Richt was a solid coach, and he got replaced by an alum of Georgia, Kirby Smart, who Nick Saban had praised effort. I mean, it was a home run hire from the time the report came out. And the second reason, the big reason, is it's two different things. That was back in 2016, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 2016. That was back in 2016. You want to know two things that didn't exist back then? The transfer portal didn't exist because that hadn't come available until 2018. Now you could transfer, but you had a bunch of rules and stipulations, and only certain people did it, and you had to sit out sometime. The transfer portal wasn't a thing, and NIL wasn't a thing. NIL wasn't a thing. You couldn't just pay people to come. If Jim Harbaugh takes the Chargers job tomorrow, there are going to be people leeching off the Michigan roster who just won a national championship. And there's people leeching off the Alabama roster who just went to the college football playoff. It's two different things. The reason you didn't see an exodus from Georgia is because, first off, it was a home run hire, and everyone knew it from the time Kirby Smart's name was mentioned. It was an alum. He's a very good coach. He led insane Alabama defenses. He learned under Nick Saban. And the second reason is because it's a fully different era. And I don't get why people don't understand that. So, a lot of Georgia fans talking, a lot of Auburn fans talking. It is what it is. I mean, they're going to talk. It's funny that they talk about Bama more than they talk about their own team, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah. The future of Alabama football is the last thing I want to touch on. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the Kalen DeBoer era entails. I really like the Kalen DeBoer hire. I'm interested to see where obviously Caleb Downs goes. I think it'll be Georgia. Proctor goes to Iowa probably. I'm excited to see if Trey Amos. Excited to see where he goes. It sucks. It does suck, and I'm not gonna pretend it doesn't. But I'm also not gonna pretend like I wasn't spoiled as a fan. I was born in 2003, so whenever I started watching football, was right when Nick Saban got there. So I'm not gonna pretend like this is the worst thing in the world. It sucks. A lot of people leaving. It's a different era. If Nick Saban would have left in 2015, it wouldn't have been the same thing. I promise you. But yeah, it's a different era. It's NIL is crazy. Transfer portal is crazy. I'm all for players getting their money though. I'm all for it. It sucks though. It sucks. The sport lost something with it, but also, I mean, players are getting rightfully what they deserve. You wouldn't want to work 80 hours a week and not get paid for it. Now they were already getting scholarships, but again, some of these players aren't going to really ever need that. It is what it is. I'm excited though. I'm excited to see what Kalen DeBoer does in his first year. I might make videos again on Alabama football. I just want to get this one video out there because there's a lot of stuff that was bothering me about just some of these narratives that were being said. Yeah, but Alabama future, excited to see the Kalen DeBoer era. Excited to see what he does with Jalen Milroe. I feel like he could take a really big leap with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. Excited to see if Alabama can add some guys. Looking at Jabbar Muhammad, the corner from Washington. He was their cornerback one. Really good football player. Alabama lost a lot of secondary. They definitely could use him. The center from Washington was a really good football player. There's going to be more players into the portal, and some of it will be NIL related, some of it will be development related. But tell me what you think about my Caleb Downs take. I don't know why it's contested. I guess some people just don't understand that everything's not NIL related. Yeah, tell me your thoughts on Alabama football. Tell me your thoughts on what I said. And yeah, that's going to be it. Again, I don't know if I'll make another video, but I just got tired of this stuff. So yeah, see ya.
Don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. Don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz, baby. Blitz, Bama, blitz. I love. And they ain't win Christian.